2 out of 3 to 12 games for the World Championship title. Canyon Ceman serving it up. He's 25, out of Stanford University. And the first ball is whacked out of bounds. The United States takes a 1-0 lead.
Players who followed pro beach volleyball and Olympic beach volleyball competition know about Mike Whitmarsh. Won a silver medal with Mike Dodd last year. They know about Canyon Ceman, a great All-American career at Stanford. We will help you learn about the Brazilians as Guilherme tattoos the sideline. The Brazilians are going to play a little different style. They'll shoot the ball around a lot more, and they will set the ball way off the net because they don't want to mess with Mike Whitmarsh. Talented, athletic. They played a lot of hard volleyball the last couple of days to get to this championship, particularly the man serving right now, Guilherme, who gets almost every serve, 70 of them in the semifinals.
Canyon Ceman getting a serve. Canyon wearing the white hat. He's got excellent all-around ball control skills. He was a setter at Stanford, the NCAA Player of the Year, and a rising star on the AVP Tour.
Won the first Grand Slam this year with former partner Dane Blanton. They had some chemistry problems, went their separate ways later in the season. Mike Whitmarsh, don't know if he got all of that, but he got enough of it, and already 2 hitting errors from Guilherme. Hit a ball out of bounds to start the match, and there is stuff. Mike Whitmarsh bothered by some injuries, but you can see he is the most intimidating blocker in the world. I don't care where you're playing. And he, along with Canyon Ceman, have really developed a good chemistry. He's never served the ball well, but serving is not that important in this competition. The ball is lighter, it's got flat seams, and he doesn't serve the ball as tough.
Mike Whitmarsh playing with a torn ligament in his right hand. He was injected earlier today. And Brazil will serve. Guilherme watches his pal Pará serve out of bounds, and the score remains 2-0. Whitmarsh blocked out of bounds.
Getting his hands on plays early. Mike Whitmarsh will not play defense. He will block each and every time.
And the Brazilians will serve 2-0 United States. Guilherme working on Canyon Ceman. And that ball whacked out of bounds. Is Canyon Ceman kind of an unknown quantity to most of the Brazilian or international teams?
He has played some internationally, not as much as Mike Whitmarsh, who they know from the Olympic Games and from playing in Brazil. And also last year at the end of the U.S. season, Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh played in 4 international tournaments, took home $80,000. They played in Brazil, Indonesia, South Africa. So the international players know about Mike Whitmarsh. Canyon Ceman got to be feeling some pressure. The biggest beach match he's ever played in.
Whitmarsh is there.
Lots of open court.
And Whitmarsh snaps it down. So Whitmarsh, with the sore wrist, still able to get the job done at the net.
They had lots of room. Good scramble play by the Brazilians, but you can see that both Brazilians right up inside of about 2 meters. So all Whit really had to do was get the ball past the block, and that was going to be an easy kill.
United States ahead 2-1. And off speed, Guilherme puts it away. Would the Brazilians know that Whitmarsh is playing hurt with the right hand and maybe try to go after him a little bit?
Just like in domestic events, all the players gather in one tent. They see Mike Whitmarsh getting his wrist worked on. They know that he's hurting there. But, you know, it's hard to go after somebody like that. He's passing the ball all right. He's been playing good volleyball, maybe the best of anybody in this tournament. Most impactful volleyball in this tournament throughout the course of the week.
United States up 2-1. Canyon Ceman bangs it. Canyon has won 2 opens in his young career. He won Hermosa this year, and then a little bit later Belmar. He won Hermosa with Dane Blanton and Belmar with Whitmarsh, who he's been playing with for the last 4 weeks.
Ceman's got all the tools. He can set the ball exceptionally well. Just sometimes gets in streaks where he makes a lot of mistakes. But Whitmarsh, the much more veteran player, has really helped to calm him down. He doesn't make the big, as we used to call, and still do the bonehead play that can really ruin your momentum.
Guilherme is 6'4". He's 28 years old, lives in Rio de Janeiro. Paul told you he received 72 serves. He had 57 kills, which might be an intergalactic record. Also had 16 errors in that long-fought semifinal against his countryman, Canyon Ceman. who had his shoulder repaired a couple of years ago. A lot of the players refer to him as the bionic arm. He has a couple of big scars on that right shoulder, which you may be able to see. And it was not easy surgery. It was like cut it open and tear it out. 2-1 United States. Guilherme pumps it through Whitmarsh.
Whitmarsh just not over the net that time. You want to get over as far as you can, but because you're only one blocker up at the net with one digger behind, sometimes you have to take some more chances and move your hands around. We've seen the Brazilians. Want to give you a little more background on how we think that they will play. He's a good all-around athlete. He's smaller than Guilherme, but doesn't get most of the serves, and as a matter of fact, you don't want to serve him at all. But he's got to make an impact at the net. He's not as big as Guilherme, and when he gets up against both Canyon Ceman, who's a solid 6'4", plus a little bit, Mike Whitmarsh 6'7", and long arm, he has got to somehow find a way to block some balls. The Brazilians cannot just settle for scoring when Guilherme's up at the net.
Canyon's jump serve out of bounds. The score remains 2-1. Once again, for identification purposes, there is Canyon Ceman, the youngster from Stanford. His partner, Mike Whitmarsh, the former basketball player who used to play with Mike Dodd. And serving is Guilherme. The man in the yellow hat is Pará. Of course, you know about Brazilian nicknames. Everyone has one. Canyon cut shot, yes. Got one of the better cut shots on the beach, and that can get it away from the block and the defensive play.
Well, there are two keys to having a good cut shot. One is deception. Make it look like you're going to power the ball or hit it straight ahead or high seam. And the other is at the last moment, hit the side of the ball and slice it off.
Guilherme, and Guilherme racks another one. Kind of interesting. The Brazilians beat Germany in the first round. Then they beat fellow Brazilians Duda and Fred. Then they knocked off another Brazilian team of Loyola and Gino. Then they knocked off another Brazilian team of Paulo Emilio and Palau. So they knocked out 3 of the 7 Brazilian teams in this tournament.
Well, we talked about the depth of the field. At the Olympic Games, there were only 2 men's Brazilian teams. Nice defensive play by Guilherme.
And Canyon is there. Coming in, left hand, no. And that's a play born out of inexperience, not playing together for that long. They've only been together for a month. But a good play by Brazil, and we are underway. Men's final, World Championships. Pará and Guilherme. Canyon Ceman and Whitmarsh tied 2-up.
There's a combination before.
2-2 is our score. Brazil tied up with the United States. Pará set to put the ball in play. Working on Canyon Ceman. And Canyon working on Pará.
Well, we talked about Pará having to be an impact player at the net, and a little bit smaller than Guilherme, but a very active blocker. Moves his hands an awful lot. And Canyon Ceman has got to make sure his arm swing stays quick to attack Pará before he gets over the net.
This time, back to Guilherme, and he pounds it down the line.
Canyon Ceman late there defensively, getting in the good ready position. I know you have a lot of court to cover, but as the ball's being hit, you have to be down in a digging posture. That ball was in range.
2-2 is our score. One thing about the Brazilians, and I don't mean to generalize, but they can all jump and they can all crack the ball. Great arm swings. Canyon goes and gets it. That's trouble, and Brazil scores a point. Pará hovering at the net.
Good deep serve. Ceman had a long way to run. As you can see, the shadows continuing to encroach out on the court. I don't really think a factor, but you can't make an unforced error like that. At this level, you got to make the opposition earn a point, and that was a long run for Ceman, but he's got to keep that ball in play.
The Brazilians ahead by 1 now, 3-2. Guilherme continues to serve. Canyon into the top of the net. So a 2-2 tie turns into a 4-2 lead, and Brazil is ahead now here at the World Championships. Tuesday. Another point to make it 5-2, but now the Americans have turned things around, have scored 2 in a row, and trail by just 1. Here is Guilherme, our score 5-4. Pará and Guilherme. Game 1. Long side-out battle. Here's Mike Whitmarsh. Numbed hand. He goes over the top and down.
Bill Walton was talking about the necessary surgery both to the foot and wrist of Mike Whitmarsh, and he was told to do this right after this tournament. He wanted to take care of that, and Whit said, Going down to my house in Cabo San Lucas for a couple weeks first.
Canyon got a dig. Off the bum wrist. And the put away. Canyon trying to jack up the crowd, and the Americans have tied it up at 5.
And you can almost see from the body language of Mike Whitmarsh, who's used to playing with Mike Dodd, who dug so many balls. Finally, a defensive play and an opportunity, because Whit, as big as he is, very quick in the sand and athletic. You dig the ball, he'll chase it down.
Come on, Canyon! Looping again, and Canyon stuck in the sand. A little cement feet action for the Stanford grad.
If the Americans are going to serve as easily as they are now, it's going to be a long, long match, because what the Brazilians are doing is setting the ball right in the middle of the court and taking away the angles, much like a tennis player using a middle approach shot to take away the angles. Whitmarsh then has to guess a lot and spread, and then Ceman is getting stuck on one side or another. That's good strategy against a big blocker. Set the ball in the middle.
Hot off. Whitmarsh, out of the net comes Canyon, and Whitmarsh puts it away. Good scoop set. One thing the Americans could do, if the Brazilians are going to continue to loop and shoot, Mike Whitmarsh needs to get back off the net and fake block and make them hit.
This is a difficult play for Whitmarsh to make with that strained tendon and ligaments, if not torn in his wrist, to snap the ball off sharp cross court.
Whitmarsh got a piece of it.
Should have hit that.
Canyon cut, yes!
He knew that his partner had a little finer cut shot. I thought Whitmarsh, as high as he deflected that ball on top of the tape, with the Brazilian defense still adjusting. So I thought Whit was going to jump and hit that ball, but maybe couldn't gather himself quickly enough. And Ceman finishes off the play.
So Canyon Ceman will serve. And Canyon Ceman can't get there. Little off-speed dink, 6'5", the United States. 20 kills for Guilherme.
Got to get better. Instead of getting cement feet, he's got to kick out for that ball. Okay. Just get a hand on it. Whitmarsh will chase it down, and maybe they do give an easy ball back to the opposition. You got to make them touch the ball one more time.
Whitmarsh yelling angle, Canyon going line. And the Americans in red will have it again. Now Mike Whitmarsh will step back to serve. He's doing all of the blocking for the United States.
Ceman moving the ball around very effectively. They're starting to go deep on Guilherme, making him run a long way.
Dig by Ceman. Chance for the 7-point. Got it!
Mike Whitmarsh is a good transition setter. He has been early on. That was one of the best skills that he developed, because he's so athletic. He gets to balls that he's got to chase. This was an easy chance. And Ceman on his offside, just finding the open court to tie this up.
7-5 in game 1. A reminder to join us next Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific for a full... Mike Whitmarsh to serve it up. The United States has gone ahead 7-5. Guilherme chopping it down the line. And back the put away.
Back to the old strategy, Chris. There was not even an attempt to set that ball tight to the net. Easily 6 feet back. The Brazilians are eliminating Whitmarsh and then making it a battle between Canyon Ceman and the Brazilians' game offensively.
I still think the Americans could make use of the fake block. And what we're talking about, Whitmarsh positions himself at the net. He looks like he's going to jump, and at the last second he runs back and gets in defensive position. Canyon stays on his side, and they dig together.
Well, that's one thing that American teams don't do a lot is they drop off, but they don't change strategy. They don't change the way they play an awful lot. And that's why you keep the ball away from Mike Whitmarsh. Now the United States up 8-5, and if you make the slightest mistake, he gets so far over the net. Watch Whitmarsh. Armpits over the net. And remember, playing on the beach, he's getting out of the soft sand all the way up and putting Guilherme in the closet. That ball served on the sideline. That's a good serve.
And right off the chest of Canyon Ceman, give Guilherme another kill. He's got 22. But the Brazilians trailing the Americans 8-5.
And Guilherme, who received 72 serves, had over 50 kills in the semifinal, which was just earlier today, showing no signs that I can see anyway of faltering in terms of his fitness.
Jump serve working on Whitmarsh this time. And that's one reason you can't serve Whitmarsh, because Canyon Ceman has maybe the prettiest hands on the beach.
And Whitmarsh, who took up volleyball, as most people know, very, very late after a successful basketball career in college. He was one of the last players cut by the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's a good passer. For a big guy, he's an excellent receiver of the serve.
8-5 Whitmarsh goes and gets it. Canyon down the line. Yes.
Canyon Ceman, pointing at his partner Mike Whitmarsh, knows that it was his anticipation and intimidation that led to this play, and that's just a good read. There's no business in Canyon Ceman setting that ball because Whitmarsh was just prone in the sand. A good read by Ceman to close the deal.
Guilherme, he hit it out. Whitmarsh and Ceman, another point, make it 10-5.
And Mike Whitmarsh has got a couple of stuff blocks, but he's just the biggest factor in the game right now in terms of intimidation and giving Canyon Ceman some chances.
There is Adam Johnson and his little daughter Caitlin. Johnson and Karai eliminated in the quarterfinal round. And Whitmarsh serving. 10-5. United States. Guilherme, and right there is Ceman. And he hammers it home. So the United States with momentum. Canyon Ceman and company leading the Brazilians 11-5.
Greatest volleyball player thinking. Karch Karai, boys, Corey and Christian contemplating what might have been. Karch and Johnson going out in the round of 8. But I'm sure Karch rooting for the Americans, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it.
Yeah, Karch, he never had any love for the Brazilians, did he not?
Well, he got his first Olympic gold medal in 1984, defeating the Brazilians, and they've had a lot of run-ins through the years.
Yeah. Here's Canyon Ceman, who has been the surprise star of the second half of this match. He started out shaky. Brazil got ahead. Brazil was leading 5-2, and Canyon was missing digs and not playing consistently. But since then, the Americans have come back. They went on a 5-0 run and now lead at 11-5.
Game point here. Canyon Ceman won't get to that. But if you remember, just at that juncture, when the Brazilians were rolling along, we talked about how good their offense was. They went on Mike Whitmarsh just for a brief enough period of time for Ceman seemingly to recapture his confidence and get some composure and get some success with Mike Whitmarsh. And there again, trying to get his feet out of the quicksand. Call that cement feet on the beach, not making a move defensively. And now Ceman's played very, very well the last 2/3 of game 1.
11-5, and that ball cannot be brought up. So the Americans will have another chance at game point, their third.
Whitmarsh to serve, game point.
Guilherme and Parra trying to hang on as the sun is going down in Westwood, California. Whitmarsh will get that one. Canyon rips it.
Wasn't the fake block you've been asking for, but it was Mike Whitmarsh not being so static at the net and getting off and playing some defense, and then Canyon Ceman ripping cross court to finish off game 1.
The United States wins it 12-5. We'll come back. We'll continue with more action from the World Championships right after this.
Nobody has left the building here at the LA Tennis Center in Westwood, California. The United States winning game 1 easily 12-5. That's when we left you. But Brazil came back. Very impressive in game 2, leading all the way and pulling away to win 12-8. This is the third and final game. Brazil in green, the United States in red for the World Championship of Beach Volleyball. Now, for a report on Canyon Ceman, let's go down to Bill Walton.
All right, Chris, I just asked Canyon Ceman in the changeover, was he tired? He said, we're going to win this match, Chris. I said, are you exhausted? How's it affecting your game? He said, we're going to win. I said, are you getting tired of redheaded announcers bugging you with these questions? He said, if you can help me win, I'll talk to you. Chris, back to you.
Canyon Ceman whacks it, got the touch. A little more effort into the jump. Sometimes when you get tired in beach volleyball, you have to tell yourself, jump on every play.
Well, you just have to regroup, and when you're exhausted, and it appears that his counterpart, we're really making this a one-on-one competition between Guilherme, who's hitting right now, and Canyon Ceman. Guilherme comes through with kill number 2. I say one-on-one because they're getting all of the serves and have been throughout the course of this tournament. Whoever can suck it up for about 10 more minutes is going to be the world champion.
40 kills for Brazil's Guilherme. This is Pará set to serve. His team up by 1, 2-1. Canyon blocked. Whitmarsh goes and gets it. Canyon
Nice
got
touch. They'll change sides, multiples of 4, just as they did in side-out scoring. Again, this is speed scoring, a point scored each and every time. But Whitmarsh made this play. Again, Canyon Ceman ran under that ball. He did not get much liftoff, but the Olympic silver medalist saved the day, and Ceman knows it.
You know what Canyon could do? I used to do this when I was playing, is have your partner yell at you to jump, to remind you to get, jump every time if you're not getting out of the sand. Here comes Pará. Cut shot, got it. Very nice shot by Pará. And so the Brazilians take the 3-2 lead, and they will have the ball. Guilherme goes back to serve. 3-2 Brazil. Hard angle, yes. You can hear Whitmarsh encouraging.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And I think you made a good point. Mike Whitmarsh right now, he knows that his partner's tired. Mike Whitmarsh, when he was having trouble with dehydration and cramps and everything else, probably felt as tired as anybody who ever played the game. And Whit's got to help Canyon Ceman now if he can.
Nice dig. Whitmarsh on the run. Canyon, no. Tried a very difficult shot on the run, giving up a point.
But Mike Whitmarsh again, look at his ability to cover territory. And Ceman, it looks like he just catches this down on his arm instead of making good, crisp contact on his hand. That's when you really have to concentrate and watch the ball because you're moving and you're well off the net. But Ceman struggled with his offense. When you're in a good flow and have confidence, you make that play. When you're struggling, you don't come close.
Brazil up 4-3. Pará serving. Third and final game of the World Championship. Oh, and he missed the serve.
Cost him a point.
That will tie up the score at 4, and the immediate side change. Is there a good side, bad side now, Paul?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Still, we're completely in shadows. We started in very, very warm, hot conditions down on center court here on the campus of UCLA at the LA Tennis Center, but now completely in shadows. Temperature very comfortable.
Canyon going with the float serve and serving Pará. Pará looping down the line, so Brazil getting the first point and leading 5-4. The lights are on here at the tennis center. And Guilherme will serve. Brazil on the ad right now, as they would say in tennis. Oh, and another Brazilian serving.
That's unforgivable. 2 quick points. That's should be, all things considered equal. I mean, just death in terms of a game that's speed scoring to serve 2 balls out of bounds for points.
Guilherme off the net, and he smacks it hard.
Showing tremendous amount of heart. All of these players, Mike Whitmarsh, and we talked about the tendon and ligament tears in his right wrist. He's got a capsule that exploded in his right toe last year at the Olympics. Guilherme and his partner Pará pulling the upset on the #1 seed, and Gino and Loyola, and then continuing on into the finals.
6-5 is our score. The Americans are behind. Canyon out of bounds.
It's overruled.
No, they're going to overrule. The referee from England says it was in.
Wow, that's huge.
The United States getting some very good rolls here. 2 missed serves and a controversial line call. That's in.
Yeah, that ball's on the sideline, on the tape. And a good overrule by the referee. Fortunately for Ceman, it happened right in front of him. Good serve making Guilherme move.
Guilherme off the block, chance for a point. Here comes Canyon on the left, and he puts it away.
The first fire we've seen in real emotion, stepping it up from Canyon Ceman. in quite some time.
Well, I think he has to be careful not to whoop it up too much because it's kind of tiring to whoop it up when you're exhausted.
Well, but he's grown up an awful lot in 1997. Won a major, split up with a key partnership, and now playing with a silver medalist. Ceman's ready for this moment.
Timeout called. 7-6. The United States hanging on by 1. Third and final game of the men's championship final here at the World Championships. The Americans and Brazilians tied 1 game apiece, 7-6. The United States team of Canyon Ceman and Mike Whitmarsh was ahead by 1, but Guilherme just facing Mike Whitmarsh, and now we are tied at 7 going down the stretch.
Whitmarsh had made a good move in terms of getting in front of Guilherme. Got his rally cap turned around. Unfortunately, went right off his noggin and out of bounds.
Guilherme will serve. 7-7. We're playing to 12. It's point per play rally scoring, or ping pong scoring if you like. You have to win by 2. Canyon rejected by Pará.
Remember from the very beginning, we said one of the keys for the Brazilians was Pará having an impact at the net because he was going to be taken out of it, not getting any serves. Look at the squat that he gets into and then leaps a full yard cross court to take the angle away. You don't block where the ball is being attacked from. You block where the ball is going to cross the net.
If you fall behind by 2 and rally scoring, it's just about over. Important play here for the Americans. Canyon. Pretty good dig by Guilherme. Whitmarsh. Got it. The United States gets a point. 8-8.
They're lucky, I think, for Canyon Ceman that this dig went to his partner, Mike Whitmarsh. Has not had to hit a lot of balls, and so experienced now, playing in so many championships with Mike Dodd, and just knows go high, hard, into the corner and snap it off for the kill to tie it.
Whitmarsh trudges back to serve. 8-8. They're serving Guilherme. And Guilherme is pounding. 9-8 Brazil.
He doesn't look tired to me right now. There was a period in the match when he looked as if he was exhausted and gutted through that and got his second wind. And he knows that it would be big. Everybody recognizes in the men's game that the Americans are on top of the beach volleyball world. And for a team from outside the United States to win this championship would be huge.
43 kills for Guilherme. Here comes Whitmarsh. Guilherme goes and gets it. And the poke score, Brazil!
Maybe time for Ceman and Whitmarsh to take a timeout. They get 4 of them per game. Good move against Pará. Is really doing a superb job blocking here, and Guilherme somehow finds the legs to go track that down in the pokey deep. No timeout taken by the Americans.
10-8. Brazil 2 points away. Canyon whacking it through.
And Whitmarsh just said to Canyon Ceman, gotta have one. I think he's telling him, I mean, go for the ace, but he can't miss it. Misses it, this thing's over.
It's float serve posture. They're looking at Guilherme, and they're serving him. Into the middle. He whacks. Canyon has the dig, but it's not quite in the zone for Whitmarsh. So make it 11-9, and now Brazil will have its first championship point.
Ceman was there. He just is not proficient yet at really digging the rocket. Great defensive players. Karch Kirai, Adam Johnson, Sinjin Smith, Ron Von Hagen, Ron Lang, Gene Selznick, just to name a few. They would dig the ball, hit right at them as hard as you could.
The Americans facing championship point. Guilherme, who has 101 kills in the semis and the finals, trying to wrap it up here. Tight. Canyon buries it straight down. The Americans are still alive, but a second championship point coming up. The Americans will serve it. If Brazil puts this ball down, Paul, they are the champs.
And now Mike Whitmarsh and Canyon Ceman will burn one of their timeouts to talk over strategy. You got lots of choices. You can go to Guilherme, and they set the ball in the middle and see him get kill number 140 or whatever it's been on the final.
Would you go to Guilherme?
You know what I would do? I would tell Canyon Ceman, Is it Whitmarsh's serve? Canyon Ceman's serve? If Ceman is serving, I would tell him.
Whit serving.
Mike Whitmarsh serving. I would tell him he's got a good spin serve from down on the beach, but he hasn't used it, so I don't think we'll see that. He's not going to break that out at World Championship point. I would go deep middle, but more towards Para. Make him run the longest way.
Okay.
He's not gotten a lot of serves, and I would change things up. I think Guilherme has proven that he can suck it up and score here.
Third and final game. It's championship point for Brazil. The Americans have to get this one or it's over. They go to Para. Americans need a block, and they don't get it. Brazil! Para Guilherme, the new world champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have first right, Whitmarsh. It's the world champion.
The FIVB's third-ranked team. Exultation, obviously disappointment for the Americans from the AVP. A magnificent performance for Brazil, and especially that man Guilherme. He hung on when he was getting tired.
Well, the Americans did what I thought they might. Go to Para, and the set was perfect for him, and this moment is one that may change the future and go down as one of the biggest moments in the history of beach volleyball.